just posted a video on this, and it didn't have, I didn't put any content other than the pictures, video of it. Me and my dad just bought this tractor. It's a 454 International. You know, a lot of people probably look at these things and say, well, you know, old junk, but look, engine's very clean, not an oil blowing dog. It's a little wet right here because when we went and got it and cranked it, the injector pump, the fellow was bleeding in the process of it, and to crank it, and it leaked a little fuel out right there. No big deal. A little damp there. New shut off cable for the fuel. I'm charging the battery right now. Yeah, the bad, it's always sad to see really good tires that have a lot of tread left on them and how bad they are as far as dry rot. This tire may be salvageable, however, this rim is toast. It's completely bad. You can see the tube bulging through. It did pump up. I will be able to pump it up and drive it off. I drove it on the trailer, but I don't want to drive it flat because it will mess the tire up possibly. And I want to try to save this tire for a spare. And that's this Milkshake. She's a good kitty. But these tractors are a lot more than what you think about. You know, people look at them and they say, well, it's just an old tractor. But what you have to understand is, here's a tractor, has remotes. This is, I think this thing's from 70 to 73 or something like that. 70s model, more or less, what I'm saying. You've got 1000 and 540 PTO, which is pretty good deal, I guess, if you need that. But the 540 is what we'll run. I may take that the 1000 out and blank it off. Tractor has remotes. A lot of people don't understand about stuff when you talk to them about a tractor, about saying, well, what's the power? You know, do you have, as far as the way the lift works, you've got independent, or PTO, you've got independent, live, two-stage, whatever, you know. The 20 that I have, Massey Ferguson has what they call two-stage live power. You have to press the clutch down once to change gears. Press it down a little bit more, you feel a D10 in it, you press it down a little bit more, and you disengage the implement for the PTO. This tractor, and most of these Internationals in this model, like this, have totally independent power. And you've heard me talk a lot about Kubota and the John Deere when I bought my New Holland, how I didn't like them because they had a button up here on the fender, just, you know, engaged it. This tractor right here, if you want to engage a PTO, you just reach over here and just ease this lever in. Just ease it in. And like if you've got a baler or you got a bush hog that you want to start it very slowly, as you ease this lever in gear, when the tractor's running, it moves smoother than that. But you can just ease it into gear and it'll start turning just ever so slow, and then you just walk it up to speed, and you know, the tractor handles it. It's got remotes right here. You've got your draft, which is also nice to have. Draft or lift response lever right here. Then you've got naturally your 3-point hitch. Then over here, it's fully synchronized transmission, high-low and reverse. You know, your high-low range right here, and a 4-speed transmission right there. Super nice transmission, super nice tractor, fully hydrostatic steering, which means these Internationals, you know, on par with a John Deere, you know, as far as their steering. Massey Fergusons and Fords, although I've had both and still have a Ferguson, still have a Ford, but it's a 600 or NAA, doesn't have power steering. But the Ford and the Fergusons are totally lacking and behind the ball, behind the curve, whatever you want to say, on power steering when these tractors were out. Now, I have no idea how International didn't beat John Deere clean to pieces, you know, as far as how they worked. But it's got a nice bumper weight up here, a few pounds here for that. I want to try to find me some wheel weights for the front. It's got some bolt holes right here. I've got a standard bumper I'm going to try to bolt on here that comes up as your brush guard and has a small hitch on the front, just in case I want to move some stuff around, mainly for the brush guard, to keep the grill safe. As you can see, you always have a little damage, but I mean, the grill's in good shape as far as that's concerned. A little cleaning up, and I'm like Farmall Fanatic. I will probably, rattle can this thing, which Farmall Fanatic, he's got a good channel. If you don't watch it, it's worth watching. He's got a 656 or 756, whatever it is. That's about the newest thing he's got. But if he ever, I don't know if he just doesn't like these. A lot of people just don't like this style, these year models, these tractors. But I love them. It's a really comfortable tractor, low to the ground, mows good. The draft mechanism works great on these tractors. It's just a super tractor. I mean, the one thing I can say about it is if you were to pull this tractor in on the John Deere lot right now, and you said, hey, I want a two-wheel drive tractor, 50 horsepower was what the engine is. I think it's like 40 on the drawbar or PTO, whatever. But say I want a 50 horsepower tractor, and say, what have you got two-wheel drive, and what's the options? They're going to say, oh, we got this nice two-wheel drive, whatever, probably whatever that 45E is, 5045E. They're going to say, here it is, 40-some horsepower. And here it is. It's got a fully synchronized transmission, which this does. You're going to say it's got independent power. And you're going to say, well, but it's engaged by that button. And which that's not good as far as I'm concerned, because if you're pulling a square baler, you don't want to just slam your square baler into gear, because you have trouble with that. Well, here you are again. You got wet disc hydraulic brakes right here. Independent PTO. Draft control. There's so many options this tractor has got, and it's all what a new tractor would have. It's not a new tractor, but my point is this stuff was all available in the 70s and some earlier. And why they think that's such a great sales option now, I just don't understand it. And they advertise it like it's, been, just invented, and it hadn't been. It's been around for a long time. My point is, you look around, you can find you a really nice tractor. If you're not a professional full-time farmer, maybe you don't need to spend, 25, 20, 15, 17, 18,000, whatever, depending on the options you buy, whether you buy a four-wheel drive, two-wheel drive, whatever tractor, which two-wheel drive tractors are getting harder and harder to buy. But like I say, these tractors are extremely heavy the way they're made. This tractor's nice front end. It's as you can see, it's like what they would call swept-back on the front end. And I've had Fords and I've had Masseys, and people, you can get mad all you want. I still got them and I still use them, and yes, I still like them. But I've never owned a Massey that turned the same way both directions. You can turn to the left and it'll cut really sharp. You turn to the right and it cuts pathetic. It hardly turns. You're basically backing up and turning back around. I've never sat on one of these Internationals that when you turn it to the right, it steers exactly the same way to the left. They're just phenomenal tractors, whether you get a Farmall or a Case International or even a Case. The Cases, I've had several of them. They're good tractors. This one needs a little TLC. Been sitting outside a little bit. I've got two rims. They're not new, but I got two rims that are in good shape. I'm gonna try to salvage this tire and look for a rim so I can run me a spare. And I'm getting a battery tomorrow. I did crank it and drive it on the trailer. Run good. I thought it did. No more than I moved it. Clutch felt good. Transmission shifted like I thought it ought to. We've got another tractor almost exactly like this that's a industrial tractor with a loader on it. It's been a tough tractor, and it still works good. It's been abused a little bit. However, this did have one of those little umbrella things on it, like from Tractor Supply, Rural King, whatever. And yes, I probably should have tied it on a little better. We collapsed it on the tractor here, and this side caught air, and like I say, it's like a parachute. It took off and it was gone. I did save the canopy part, but the bows and stuff are gone. I personally don't care much for these. They're cheap and they don't really stay very long. However, I will try to patch this one together. I can take some EMT or some small rod and bend and rethread the little umbrella part and put back on it, and it'll probably work all right. Or I may just take it off, I don't know. But anyway, these are really good tractors, and a lot of people really do overlook them. Mainly, yeah, I'm gonna tell you, yeah, it don't look good. It's not new paint and stuff like that. But and nothing says rough more than sitting cockeyed and flat tire. That's never appealing. However, but you got to understand what this is. Once again, independent PTO power. And anybody who ever knows what I'm talking about, that's a big plus. Being able to ease it into gear, bigger plus in my opinion. Bulletproof diesel engine. These engines are just, some people may not like them. You might have problems with them. We've had several tractors like this and still got a couple more. Never had much problems out of them, ever. One thing I don't like about this series of tractor, you can like it or you can not. Either way, these tanks, this fuel tank in the back is like a saddle tank. It comes down on both sides, and you have a cross tube under here for the fuel. So sometimes you can get some debris to build up in this tube to where your fuel, if you run on a hillside much, which here in Virginia, yeah, right here around Blue Ridge, it's hilly, and I don't own any flat land. I have run out of fuel because you get some stoppage in this line once in a while on some of the other tractors like this that I got, and you'll run out of fuel, and you've got plenty in it. You're like, well, why am I running out of fuel? You have problems with that, but that's not a big deal, not a deal breaker to me. You can clean that out, and as long as you keep your tractor under the shelter. But diesel's inherently dirty. You got to clean your stuff once in a while. But hey, these are really nice tractors for people who are interested in something that you don't want to spend a fortune on, and you can pick one of these tractors up relatively cheap. Once again, it's a two-wheel drive, but the four-wheel drive stuff just got big in the last probably 20 years. So people have been using two-wheel drive stuff for a long time, and these are tanks. Got to get me 2 rims, put them on, and like they say, as far as the wife, it's better to ask for forgiveness than for permission. So, but once I get it cleaned up, me and my dad went in together and got it. So it'll be a really good, I wanted to say second, but more like 4th, 5th, or 6th tractor to have to use. So anyway, like and subscribe.